Good morning, everyone. Steve Murray here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking some time out of your day to join us on today's webinar. We're going to talk about what I think is a really timely subject, Retirement Boss Radio. Our guest speaker is going to be Dave Pemper. Dave is the president of Lazarus Coaching and also in his own right a regular, strong producer in both the insurance and securities environment. So good leader for us in terms of the radio business, and also he's going to give you a really good idea of some of the more recent successes that we've had, because frankly, in terms of some of the pricing and in terms of the results, we've had improvements on both sides. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We got a busy start today. We're going to go through a couple of things. I'm going to zip through them as quickly as I can in respect for your time. I know I'm just looking at the list of attendees. Looks like we've got a lot of folks with us that are folks that are already regular producers with us and know about many of our programs. We do have a few of you on there that may not, so I'm going to zip through those really quick, and then we'll get to talking with Dave more about just the regular opportunities that we are seeing on the radio side and how it works and what you can expect from us in terms of assistance to help grow that part of your business. So let's get started here this morning. Again, my name is Steve Murray, president here, Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I regularly host webinars with Dave around sales ideas and sales approaches and marketing approaches on Tuesday mornings. As you all know, usually when I begin the webinars, I'll mention that if you have a question, go ahead and type it in, get it into the system, and we'll get it answered by either Dave or myself. There will be a couple polls that pop up during the course of the event, mostly at the front end here. If you would just answer those polls, quick yes or no is really appreciated. You're not making any commitments. You're just letting us know that you have potentially have some interest, or if you have no interest, that's either is just great. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with telling you just a little bit about a couple programs that you should be aware of if you're not already, that put money in your hands on a monthly and a quarterly basis. So the first is a the referred producer program. Very simple program. When you refer a producer to us and they get appointed, we send you a check. And then when they start doing business, we pay you a bonus based on the business levels that they produce. Nothing comes out of their pocket. It's strictly out of our pocket. It makes no difference on the benefits. They get all the incentives that you would normally get. So if you have a colleague that you think might benefit from association with IAMS, as you have done in the past, many of you, we appreciate you referring them to your sales director. They'll get them recruited, get them into the system, and then you start earning bonuses. Those are big checks that go out. I love those checks that go out. We send them generally out quarterly. There are a couple of you on here today. I think they probably get your checks monthly. If they get to be much more than 1,000 or so on a monthly basis due to you, then we're going to go ahead and send those to you monthly. Otherwise, we'll send you those checks on a quarterly basis. Marketing reimbursement is basically you receive reimbursement when you request it based on any marketing that you do. Any business that you do with us, money goes into your marketing reimbursement account, and then we match your spend dollar for dollar when you send us in receipts from your marketing expenses. A simple program, one that we're very, again, we're dedicated to helping people understand what you do. We know the more people that know what you do, the more people there are going to be wanting to do business with you, especially right now. So we also have the new producer builders. There's about 8 or 10 of you on here that are recently appointed with us. And so this would be especially important to you. Just look at before you on the screen, you can kind of see some of the options that you have there. If you're in your first 180 days of contract, you're eligible for the new producer builders. And as you do business, what I want you to know is that beyond what you see before you on the screen, and you can see that one of them is, for instance, 750 level, will help you get set up and take care of some of those costs. But if you have something else that you do that's helping you to build your business and you'd like to include that in this program, certainly that's a conversation you have with your sales director. Likely they'll bring it to me, and 99 times out of 100, I'm going to approve it. The goal here is to help you grow your business. So if you got something you're doing that's working great for you already, or you want to try that you think might work, we're just as pleased to be able to offer you reimbursement for that as well. So you can see, if you look at the numbers, this is kind of a marketing reimbursement on super steroids to reward you for joining IAMS. Great back office support here at the Omaha location, and really all of our locations, Kansas and Texas and other locations that we have as well. And the idea is very simple, is that your business is very valuable to you, and what's valuable to you is valuable to us. We're going to watch that through every step of the program, through every step of the process, all the way through to the point where you're going to get an email from your associate here in the office, it's going to say, okay, business issued, here's when you can expect to see the commissions in your account. So it's the full 360. It goes right from all the way from case design. You're going to get notified every step of the way on your business. So you're going to really like what we do from a back office standpoint. We have had folks that, for whatever reason, have made a decision to make a change, and they've come back to us that has been based on, just the attention that we give your business, and that's not going to change. Got some great people in our advertising team, and that's how you should think of them, as kind of an advertising team that's already built around you and your business, and they're working with people just like you all day long. And we're going to do a lot of what we can on a pro bono basis. We're going to do things as cheaply as we can for you, or as inexpensively as we can, to get you a good quality image built up. If you haven't talked to your sales director about some of the things we do there, I'm going to refer you to them and have that conversation. We got a great website. We've recently added Firelight, so obviously e-apps have been much more important. So we have a single sign-on for Firelight, which means that instead of having to go from carrier to carrier website to do their e-apps, you can do them all on our site. There's a lot of benefits to you in that, and a lot of ease of business. You can copy back and forth. If you're doing apps on one client with multiple carriers, you can just do a simple kind of a copy program, so you can move information from app to app, or company to company, if you will, and that gets the business in the system quicker. If you're not familiar with the e-app, I would suggest that you take, again, some time with your sales director, get signed on and try one. They'll walk you through, if you want to, just from an experimental standpoint, if you want to try how that works. You'll be very pleased with how simple and easy that can be. Marcus handles Retirement Analyzer here, and so I would say that if you're not using a program like this, where you can put in information on your client and get back out a report that kind of gives you an idea of where they are in their retirement journey, you're going to like the Retirement Analyzer. It is the best of those. We make that available to you at no cost if you're doing business with IAMS. Even if you're not doing business with IAMS, if you want to try it out, we'll take care of your first month of cost. So give it a try. Give Marcus a call and say, hey, walk me through the Retirement Analyzer. Do one on yourself. If you want, do one on your best client. I think you'd be amazed by the information and the way that it details and the way that it illustrates it for your client. You can see the sample of some of those reports. They're really very good reports. It really put the ins and outs of where your client stands on, for instance, their risk tolerance, where they stand on, trying to be, can they do the things that they want to do in retirement based on the plans that they've made to date, and where they're short, where they might be long, and really it builds a relationship with the client where they'll want to be in contact with you every year to kind of go over and where do I stand right now, and Retirement Analyzer is a great product for that. So give Marcus a call here at the office and just say, hey, Marcus, walk me through the Retirement Analyzer. We got a wealth management firm here. I'm going to shoot up a quick poll. I think I have a poll for it. If I do, I'm going to shoot it up, and all I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have questions or maybe need some assistance on the process of getting to 65, or maybe you have your 65 and you're unhappy with your current RIA, maybe your fees are too high, your payouts are too low. These are the things that I hear most. But I think the service component is, again, a big part of IAMS Wealth and why people are attracted to them. They do a great job on helping you with your business. Beyond that, their payout doesn't go through a grid. So their payout is just a little bit over 1% to the IAR, investment and advisor rep, and that does not go through a grid. So you don't get 90 or 80 or 70% of that 1% number, a little over 1% number. You get the whole amount, and also the fees that they charge, what you get for those fees. I've gotten great feedback from everybody. It's a really, really high value. So if for any of those reasons you may be interested in talking to the folks over at IAMS Wealth, just put yes on that poll. Don't be afraid to hit no at all. So I would like everybody, if we could, to reply. That would be great. I'd appreciate that. If you're happy with your current situation, if you are not interested at all in having that wealth management be part of your business, just hit no. It is not for everybody, but if you have considered it, certainly there's opportunity that with IAMS Wealth, they've helped a lot of people get their 65 and walked them through the process and helped them, frankly, with the educational part of their business, with the educational part of it, keeping you on track and helping you with that. So they're very good at that. We've done that with a lot of guys and gals. So if that's of interest to you, certainly check yes and let them walk you through that as well. So I'm going to close that poll now. Thank you all for voting so quickly. I want to get moved along here. So we also do some trainings, and we've had, of course, that involves travel, and so we've had to suspend most of them. We're going to restart those towards the end of the summer, early fall. if you have interest in joining us at an academy and you just like to see, for instance, a kind of an itinerary or maybe get a registration form, call your sales director and just say, hey, give me the, if you could, send me an email that has that registration form and a sample itinerary. Sample itinerary give you an hour by hour breakdown of what you do. We go usually from a Wednesday to a Friday. We take care of your expenses, so you don't have any cost associated with it. We'll take care of your travel. We'll take care of your hotel, and we'll take care of your meals. So your expense is going to be being out of the office from a Wednesday through early Friday. We'd love to have you join us on one of those. If you haven't, give us a call, give your sales director a call and say, hey, give me some information on those academies. They're great ways to reignite. There's so many new things going on, especially right now on the marketing side that have been introduced kind of in answer to what's going on here with the social distancing and just limitations that we're all working under. So it's, challenges do lead to innovation, and we've got some great new innovations there that I think you'd want to learn about. And really, academies are sales and marketing. We talk a little product, but it's mostly sales, marketing, and what's going on in the industry. We are looking right now at what we're going to do with this particular trip, but as it stands as of today, it's still something that is on the docket. Now, we're going to do something here, but this is for business done with IAMS with a theme. So this is a co-sponsored convention with a theme and IAMS, and we work on it together in all aspects. And we're not sure about Mexico in the 26th or the 29th. We're currently kind of looking at that right now. It's something that we'll probably make some type of decision on here in the next week or two. But whatever we do, we will do something that rewards the folks that do their business with IAMS in Athene between now and the end of June. So if you're doing business with Athene and you want to do it with IAMS, give us a call. If you're doing business with IAMS right now and you're not using Athene, give us a call. You might be interested in what they've got there. They're very competitive right now. They've always maintained a high level of competitiveness in terms of their products. Also, we have ongoing qualification through the end of this year for our big trip, the IAMS Summit, and we're going to go down again to Mexico. Hopefully, we'll have everything worked out by March of next year. We're going to go to a beautiful property there, the Secrets in Puerto Vallarta, and that's for you and your guest. Takes 3.5 million to qualify. So if you looked at that last slide, you do 3 million, you qualify for that trip. Well, if you do another 500,000 on top of that, you'll qualify for both of these trips. And if you do another 3 million or so on top of that, then you're going to qualify for a trip that is a tag trip for top producers, and that's going to be to the Four Seasons at Punta Mita. So we'd love to have you join us for all three trips over the next, from I think August through, these trips are going to be in March, over the next year or so, or less than a year or so. We're going to be going to some great locations. We'd love to take you and your guest with us. So you're going to get rewarded. The bottom line, you get rewarded when you do your business with IAMS. Okay, so we zipped through that pretty quick. Dave, are you aboard with us? Maybe not. See, I probably went too quickly. So he'll be joining us soon to talk a little bit about Retirement Boss Radio. In the meantime, I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing in kind of conjunction with that. Usually Dave treats this as a little bit part of Retirement Boss Radio because he does spend a lot of time in the course of Retirement Boss Radio talking about um, uh, Social Security and the benefits of having some assistance with Social Security. And as part of our training around our digital seminars on the Social Security, we're also offering training on Social Security benefits in general. And as part of that, of course, we have ways to get in front of people very specifically in a digital format regarding passing on your information that you've learned about Social Security to them, to their benefit. So you can see before you on the screen there, we have a guarantee that we offer to get folks registered for digital workshops is really what they are. We've got a full plan laid out. That's one of the things we've had to do innovatively to kind of get you rolling in the social distancing timeframe. And Dave and our people that work in the marketing side have really done a great job in getting everything put together so that you can now offer digital workshops, and we have a guarantee associated with that. And we also have the full format in place. So if that's something that you're interested in, that Social Security knowledge, of course, transfers as well to the radio. And Dave would be the first one to tell you right now that more people than ever are listening to radio based on the responses that he's seen. I don't know that they've quite doubled, but certainly his response rate via radio has gone up. And a lot of that has to do, of course, with people are not able to get information other ways. They're not able to go to seminars. They're not able to learn about their Social Security in other ways. And that's not the only subject that Dave goes to, and he'll talk more about that shortly here. It's not the only subject matters that we treat in the course of the Retirement Boss Radio, but certainly does come up, and you kind of get you get dual benefit when you get that training associated with our digital workshop. So that's why we wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dave as he's getting ready to join us. So, Dave is.
I'm here.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Good, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. I know I zipped through that a little bit quicker than usual.
Fine.
I want to make sure that we had everybody tuned in, because I know we're seeing some really good returns right now on radio. So I want to make sure that people got a full dose of the radio. And I was just getting ready to tell them a little bit about you and your background a little bit. And so we've got that slide up. Are you in a position where you can see the slides?
I am. I'm right here. Yep, absolutely.
Good. Great. So I'm going to let you take over
Okay.
from here on. Tell the folks just a little bit about you. I've talked a little bit about what we're doing on the Social Security side with the Facebook marketing and digital workshops. But if you can tell them a little bit about yourself, then let's talk a little bit about radio.
Yeah, my name is Dave Pimper. I've been in the business for almost 40 years, since 1981. Insurance for the first 3 years, and then with stock brokerage and investment brokerage from there out. Though I've always used some insurance products for guarantees, like fixed indexed or income annuities. I'm a holistic planner. I mean, I work with people in the pre-retired or just retired, and I like to market. And I've been working with IAMS for about 15 years now as a producer, but then also as a coach, which I coach independent uh, uh, um, financial reps, investment reps before that. I enjoy helping people to especially in tough times like right now, where a lot of the states are our lockdown states. Things are starting to open back up. I'm in Nebraska. We're pretty fortunate, one of the 5 or 6 states that wasn't at a shelter in place. And but you can't stop marketing in time like this. And so we've been doing some virtual seminars and getting some of the bugs out of that. We've had some success there, and hopefully more success in the future. Use it as a way of lead generation, hopefully down the road also, even when things open up. But there's no doubt that radio right now, even stronger. I mean, I've had a live show for 11 years, and then this Retirement Boss Radio we've had for about maybe a year and 8 or 9 months, and it's been very successful. In fact, just yesterday, talked with a guy. I've been listening to KFAB, which is our kind of our Rush Limbaugh station here, and he comes on in and he gives me all of his financials ahead of time. His investable net worth about 1.4 million, but he's got about 750,000 between his 401k and his IRA and another IRA. And he just said, I really liked the content. I liked your style, what you said. And interesting enough, one of the reasons it came in, because I do have an expertise with Social Security claiming. And so anyone who signs up for Retirement Boss Radio, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to learn Social Security, and I'm going to teach it to you if you don't know it right now, because about 30% of the business that I have coming on in is it's a relation to Social Security claiming. But I've done a lot of seminars. I mean, I've been in radio for over 25 years. I'm a full-time producer, but I will tell you right now, my goal is to get in front of people every day. We do our Facebook marketer, which also runs our radio buyer. That company's been in business from a family business since the late 60s. But last year he purchased over $12 million of media. I mean, just pretty outstanding. I want to say I'm not this skinny. I'm much heavier than that. It's just a picture, but yeah, it says, become a radio host. There's no doubt when you're on the radio or television, you really have more of a celebrity type of background. Retirement Boss Radio, Take Charge of Your Money, is a trademarked name and phrase. I did that before even we did our very, very first one. I knew this would be successful. Certainly thought it would. But radio, especially with a lot of people staying home now, I mean, for older folks, maybe not for the kids that are in their 20s or 30s, but for older folks, and I work with people in transitioning from full-time to part-time or full-time to full-time retirement, from working full-time health, having health insurance to Medicare and Medicare Sup, from accumulation to preservation. All those are a transitional stage. So I work with people really from 50 to 70, or maybe tightening it up from 55 to 67. That's really who that's who I work with, and because that's really where that big rollover money is. But radio reaches a ton of people. The median age is 61, split pretty evenly between male and female, but it reaches a more upscale listener. Just like this guy that came in yesterday, one of the nicest guys you're going to meet. And he said, I just listen to your show all the time. He said, I really get a lot out of it, like I've learned something in that hour. But it solidifies you as an expert in news, talk, radio, no doubt, is hot. So there are areas, and I say why. Look who's on AM radio, but it is some FM. I just did a southeastern town on a huge 100,000 watt FM station. That's a Rush Limbaugh station, and I mean it covers a big area with a lot of people for pretty competitive pricing. But Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Kim Commando, Dave Ramsey, they're on that because they can advertise, the local stations, they can advertise to get their money for people listening to those stations. And so that it's a bottom line, for those big syndicated hosts. I'll tell you, being on radio, even though I'm a big believer of seminars, I've given over 500. I've actually given 521 public seminars since the mid '80s. What happens is that seminar does not give you that celebrity status, certainly like radio does. So here's the 4 components to radio. The first component is you gotta. It's like in real estate, location. You have to find a radio station that has a. Here's what's important. It has to be at a good time period. It has to be on a good station. So good station, good time period, competitive pricing. If you don't have those 3, it could be a cheap, but it's on a terrible station and no one listens. It could be on a great station, but it's at a terrible time, 2 a.m. in the morning. Well, who's listening at 2 a.m.? Nobody. Normally we like to go from 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday till about 4 o'clock, and on Sunday from 7 o'clock till about 3 o'clock. Those are the best times, and the reason it's the weekend because syndicators aren't on as many shows on the weekend as they are during the weekday. So first of all, you got to find that station. Second of all, you got to learn a little bit on what to do and how to do it. So I coach you for between 2 and 3 sessions. I coach you, normally it's 2 sessions on radio, and we go through the script, we go through the show notes, what to say for your first time, and remember, you don't have to go in. This is not live. It sounds live, but it's recorded, and you can record it from your own home, your own office, your motel room. You could do it in your car if you really, really wanted to, as long as you got a computer to hook up to our software, and it's very, very mobile. Now the second thing is that you need to get someone to you got to have that buy that radio time. And so instead of you going down the radio station, our radio buyer, he goes in and he's worked with every larger station there possibly is. I mean, he has 400 shows a week that he's purchased radio time, and then some television too, but mostly radio time in the U.S. every single week. The guy's incredible on what his knowledge of radio is. So he's competing out there for you. We have a production company that after your recording, they edit it. They take out the mistakes. Because it's recorded, you can say, well, let's do that over again. That's so it sounds, it just sounds like from a production standpoint, it's almost perfect. They put in the music with it. They supply the co-host. And we have the same co-host for all the people that are doing Retirement Boss Radio. Been in the radio business for over 40 years, and media business for over 40 years. Very, very good at what he does. He's really the color guy. Makes us look good. It has our program has a real strong offer. So we have 3 different offers that we offer between an income plan, a forensic fee analysis on your portfolio. We go in and talk about a Social Security report, which you get three. If you don't have a Social Security software, we give you 3 months of a free software to be able to run it, and you can buy it. It's about $28 or $9 after that. But that production company, they edit it, they mix it, they put the music in, they put your ads in. You normally get about 10 to 15 15-second ad promos for your radio show each week. They put that all together for you, and then they deliver it to the radio station. So the production company does a lot. It's an hour show, but you only record for half an hour. We repeat the second half from 4 weeks before, and you'd think you'd get a lot of people that would know it's a repeated. I've had one time someone said, "Is it? Did I hear you say that before?" But I talk about the same things kind of over and over. We talk a lot about 401k rollovers called in-service non-hardship withdrawal plans. We talk about Social Security. We've been talking a lot about the coronavirus and the effect upon retirement right now, but we're pretty timely with the topics. Okay. The third thing is that you've got to go on in and you got to have someone to answer those calls. So when they call in, and like my number is 888-975-2677. That 2677 is BOSS. So we say 1-800-975-BOSS, BOSS, for Retirement Boss Radio. It's easy to understand. We go in every 15 seconds. We have 2 segments over 30 minutes. We'd like to say our phone number in the content 2 or 3 times, and at the end it said 2 or 3 times. So the phone number is being out there all the time to call in. It goes to a live call center. The goal on the live call center is not to send out information, it's to get the appointment. And by far the majority of our appointments were face-to-face. I would say now in Nebraska about half are face-to-face and half are phone. But as the coronavirus and we get the vaccination and so forth, it'll open up to almost all face-to-face again. But I'll tell you what, people are listening to radio, just no question about it. The content is very, very good. It's a turnkey system, and that's one of the big things I think you want to understand. It kind of gives you star quality. I think it's $50 or $100. I go on iTunes. Don't have to do that, but it gives me some credibility. Right when the call center sets the appointment, we get a response right away through email. Like here, turning 59 soon, hasn't settled on someone yet. He has a 401k that is 7-figured. Actually, he's 960,000. Also had questions about Social Security. If you go to www.retirementbossradio.com, www.retirementbossradio.com, that's our website. It has all of our updated our recordings, and you'll get a real good feeling of how Retirement Boss Radio works. When someone asks me about the cost, it depends on how big the radio station is, how expensive the radio station is. The production cost is the same whether it's a small station or a big station. But I will say this: the cost all in, including the call center, coaching, everything, is probably a month $2,500 on the low side, and then on the high side it might get to $5,500 or $6,000 if it's a huge station with 1 million plus people. But I'll tell you right now, just like this last week, I got and I actually am on 2 stations, one big station and one small that I just put on during the pandemic. And between the 2, I got 5 yesterday. I got 5 or on Saturday and Sunday, 5 appointments. The week before, fairly unbelievable, I got 9 appointments. I mean, I'm telling you what, this appointment yesterday came in brand new, listened to me. Him and his wife both listened to it. And it takes a little while to get it going. So, if you can't just do it like a seminar one time and then be done. But, if you have to at least go, if you go 3 months out, that's 12, 13, 14 shows, you'll start getting a following. And not everybody is good on the radio, so we certainly talk about that. If you're just completely boring when you talk, no, you're probably not going to be a star. But if you got a little bit of voice, modulation and some good insight, it's not just what you know, but we talk about how it's presented. A lot of locations available, not all, but certainly when we talk, we can talk about that. I do coach you, train you. You can always call me. I call it studio in a box. So the microphone, professional mic, headphones, that that's really your only upfront cost. You purchase that from Amazon. It's about $200, and then you own that. We give you what to order. But the components, how it all works together, it's really cool. And it comes out to be, if you go to www.retirementbossradio.com, you'll just see how professional that the quality is of the editing and the mixing and getting your show, your recorded show, to sound just as if it's live to the radio station. Al Jolson was an actor. He says, "I'd like to do radio just like pictures, leave the imperfect stuff on the cutting room floor." Well, you can, because that's how radio works. I always say this. I talk about how people, if you heard something, because then we're going to put up a slide that's a polling. Would you like to get an appointment with me to talk about radio for the possibility in your area? It's not for everybody. You got to have enough population. Normally, that has to be a metro population, of 150 or 200,000 to get enough people to be able to listen to you each show. But it says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes, does it, when you procrastinate? I'm telling you, radio's hot right now. You can normally do radio in your town of about what a dinner workshop would be. Really. And it gives you that star quality, that star power. It's a turnkey system. I've got over 25 years in radio, and when we coach in those 2 or 3 sessions, I'm really going to coach you up of what you need to know. And if you need to learn Social Security, I'll spend another 3 sessions. There's no cost for that. I'm not in your hierarchy. IAMS stipends me to coach you. It's proven that if you coach, the chance of you having higher production, of course, that's how an FMO like Insurance Agency Market Services makes their money. It's a win-win situation, and you can talk to me anytime that you want to. So, Steve, if you want to go in and put that polling slide up, that would be great. Hopefully, he is on the line. Are you there, Steve? If he's not, then he'll be back, I'm sure, just shortly. So here's a couple questions that came on up. It was a question about cost again. They said that their metro area is about 300,000, so that's big enough. They want to know the name of the city. No, we do not have a rep there yet. And the cost depends on the radio station. So it's how big, how much in demand that radio station. But I'll tell you right now, radio stations are going in and they're being competitive. Hold on just for a quick second. Yeah, so what happens is that, on a situation like that, you would think that you might be able to go all in with everything. The radio time, the production time, everything, for, you would hope for maybe between $3,000 and $4,000. It might be less. I just quoted, I tell you, we just got into a New York borough that has a listenership of over 1 million people for like $4,200 a month, all in. So very, very reasonable. If you have any other questions, certainly type them on in. I got one more question I'm going to answer, and hopefully Steve Murray will be back on the line here just shortly. They're talking about the coaching and what is involved in the coaching itself. So when we get together, I go through of how once the radio actually the radio time is purchased, and they go on every 4 weeks. Okay, that's where they you pay X amount every 4 weeks. So if it's $250 a week, it's $1,000 over 4 weeks. What happens is that I'm going to show you how all the components work together, and then I'm going to go in and take show notes that we already have. So that production company gets you to me, and then I redo the show notes. I put them into bullet forms so they're easy to understand. I make sure they're timely, make sure they're compliance approved, especially if you have a broker dealer like I do. Your compliance department will want to see those show notes. My compliance department listens to my show, my 30-minute show, every single week. So we do it 2 weeks before the show actually airs. Some people can do it if you have RIA, it's not as stringent, or if you're strictly insurance, you can just do it the week before. Even makes it more timely. But what happens is that the show notes are very, very timely. So I'll go through. It's just like this. I happen to record every Monday, and then it goes in 2 weeks. So here's my intro on the show I just did. On today's show, we've got some tips on how to navigate a recession if you're near retirement. And then we talk about the bullet points are: don't panic, access your retirement savings and plan for changes once the markets recovers, keep your retirement plan flexible, and take advantage of non-hardship withdrawal privileges. If you don't know what an in-service non-hardship withdrawal privilege is, you need to. That means if you're over the age of 59 and a half, you're still working at your company, so you have a 401k, the government thrift savings plan, 403b, 457, you're able to get to that money and roll it over into an IRA without any, it's available. Not all plans have it, but I probably do 20-25% of my business with non-hardship in-service withdrawal provision plans. And then the second segment that we do 2 segments every 30 minutes. It says when we come back, we'll outline what you can do to help make sure you're doing everything possible to enjoy a financially secure retirement. And then it talks about despite the coronavirus pandemic turning the world upside down, the majority of retirees still maintain an optimistic outlook. That is what Steve, our co-host, does. And then I talk about don't underestimate how long you might live, determine a safe withdrawal rate. And that's really what we talked about. So, there's a lot. We talked about the CARES Act before. We talked a little bit about the Secure Act. We talk about just a lot of different things we talk about. It's very well put together. It's a coordinated event of really 4 different things, but IAMS makes it available only to people who are contracted and doing business through IAMS, so we don't do this on the outside, but it's turnkey. It's a turnkey system, and I'll tell you right now, we've had, because virtual seminars are still very, they still can get you in front of a lot of good people, but I tell you what happens is that so many people are listening to radio right now. And so my numbers have always been good, but they're even going up now when it comes to the amount of people listening and the amount of people going on in and signing up, for appointments. So I do have another question here. So they want to know, so is your territory guaranteed, once you get it? And I will say yes, unless it's a huge, like New York would not be, Chicago would not be, Houston would not be, but almost all of the different areas, you're going to be protected. So once you have your show going, if you're, I'm just making this up, but if you're in Denver, Colorado, you're going to be the only show with Retirement Boss Radio in Denver, Colorado. Okay, Steve, are you there yet? So hopefully he'll be coming on pretty soon. I want him to put that. Yeah, I want you to put that poll up right now, Steve, if you can.
Oh,
so if you sign yes for the poll, what that's going to mean is that it'll be Lisa or Nicole. They will go in and they will give you a call, and we will sit down on a phone call meeting with myself and just see if it could be a positive in your marketing for yourself. Anytime you spend $1 marketing, you want to get more than $1 back, don't you? I mean, that's it's just return on your investment, ROI. So I can kind of tell you, is it a perfect system? No, but right now, especially, A lot of people at home, a lot of people listening to radio, getting news. AM radio is hot as it's ever been. But if you mark yes, we'll sit down for 20, 25, 30 minutes, talk about your marketing, and see if radio could possibly be something that is of interest for you. So, Steve, I'll shoot this on over. I did talk a little bit about cost. I talk about territories. You really do have some territory protectiveness, unless it's a huge city. I said like New York or Chicago or Houston.
Yep.
I mean, there's when you got 10 million or 8 million people, of course you can have more than one advisor there. But if it's a normal city, even like Omaha, Nebraska, or a city of 1 million, we try to protect that within just one person within that city. So I'll kind of turn it over to you as people are voting on this, and we can kind of finish her on up.
You bet. Thank you, Dave. Great stuff as always. Did you talk much about, because when I opened up, I talked a little bit about how you're seeing better results and your radio pricing has been a little bit better. Have you talked much about pricing?
Well, I said that right as of right now, not every market, but many markets, they're losing advertisers, and so they need and filling up more airtime because they want listeners to the show. Okay, because remember, in an hour show, they have about 4 minutes that they do advertisements on, and so they're things are certainly more competitive now price wise than they were before the pandemic. Will it always be that way? No. But I'll tell you, there's some very good pricing right now. It's a great time to start radio. In fact, like I said, I put another station on at the very beginning of this pandemic. It's a smaller station. The cost wasn't as much, but I have two stations, and of course only one production cost. So what happens is it's just a very, very timely type of marketing that you might be able to save some costs from before the pandemic.
That's why I kind of wanted to chat, make sure that we talked about that, because you've also noted to me that you've had better results, and I can see why that would be. People are they're a little less out and about, maybe listen more to their radio, a little less access to advice that they might need, or
Right.
certainly nobody is, aren't any seminars going on, so it's helping your business. So that's a great, when you can do things cheaper and you can get better results. That's a combination that we really, it's a great thing to take advantage of, obviously. So the one thing that I want to mention here, and I know you've talked through a couple of things, but I know I've talked to some folks that have had some interest in radio, but were maybe a little bit frightened by it, like, or anxious about being on the radio and how that works. And to a man and woman, there's been no question that once people get into it, it becomes very, mundane's the wrong word, but it's something that you find is very repeatable, very easy to do. Just another one of the things that you do as part of your business to grow it. So I, I hope if you have any interest, if you've ever thought about radio at all, you'll give this some extra consideration right now, because it is easy to do. Right now, it's cheaper than seminars. I would say in many ways, what I've heard back from Dave and some of our other folks is that the quality of prospect is maybe a little bit better than what you normally see at seminars. So when you're getting a less expensive prospect it's more valuable, that's another great reason to consider radio. So a lot of great things to do right now. And I would say um, don't be hesitant because you're not sure if you can do it, because you can do it. And with Dave's and his team's help, you can do it very efficiently financially, and you can do it very efficiently with your time. And we've got a great team of people. The radio buying's we've got a great connection there with the folks that we work with that have just been in that business for literally generations. So they know the ins and outs. They've been getting great deals, been getting quick commercials and things like that. That other ways you can help build your brand in the area. So this is a great time to consider it. Take 15, 20 minutes with Dave over the phone, talk through it, see if it might be a fit. Make sure that we're open in your area. We can get some pricing for your area. And see if that might be something that you want to do. It's very timely, and so I hope you'll consider it. And I see from our voting, I have oversold it because almost everyone has voted, and we have a lot of interest, which is great. I think that's a great time. Dave, I don't have any other questions that you have not already answered here coming up. Is there anything that you want to add before we close out today?
No, we're in very uncharted water right now. We will get back to normal, but one of the misnomers is, hey, I'm just going to wait until we can do our regular marketing. I mean, that might be 6 months or a year. You can't afford to be out of getting in front of new prospects, even working your own business. I mean, you got to be careful on that. I mean, most businesses need new prospects coming on in. This might be a very, very good way. I mean, certainly has been for me. Doesn't mean it is for everybody, but I've been through the trenches on marketing, lots of seminars. I've done 25 years of radio. I kind of know what it takes to be successful. Let me kind of guide you, help you kind of take that system A through Z. But I'll tell you right now, when things are tough, this is when people are looking. Like this guy yesterday, he hasn't been called from his advisor one time through this whole thing, or been contacted by a letter or even email. Yeah, well, you know what? He said, I'm moving it. He said, I'm going to do it myself, or I'm going to have you do it, one of the two. Well, you know what? I mean, I feel that's $700,000, $765,000. So, so let's hopefully we can talk. When Lisa calls, please take the call. If you said yes on this, and I'm looking forward to speaking with. I can see here too, Steve. My, we got a bunch of yeses, don't we? So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward
a
to
lot of
speaking
interest.
to. I'm looking forward to speaking with y'all.
Yep. Well, there's a couple folks that haven't voted, and a lot of times that's because you can't. If that's the case and you have interest, or if you have questions, certainly don't hesitate to give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. If there's a reason that you haven't voted because you have some questions, certainly take advantage of that as well. We'd love to chat with you. This is a great opportunity, and I can't emphasize enough how uh, easy it is to get yourself in the radio business using Dave and his system in Retirement Boss Radio. It's been perfected in a way that can make it very, very easy and very financially efficient for you to do so. And obviously, we're going to help you every step of the way here at IAMS. Dave has got a whole team over there as well. So there's a lot of people kind of at your beck and call to make sure that this goes exactly how you want it to, and get just the exact image that you want to get across in your area. So with that, unless there's any more questions, let me take a quick look here, Dave. I apologize. I should have been checking. Nope, we're good. We've got every
Great.
question answered. If there's anything else that comes up and you all want to chat, if you want to just chat with Dave about something else, let us know. We'll be glad to connect you. Dave is a producer's producer. He wants to help in any way that he can. So I'm sure he'll make a few minutes for you if you want to chat about almost any subject. We're glad to help you here at IAMS. That's what we're here for, is to help make your life better, get you to the level of success that you want to get to. We can't make it happen, but we can sure help it happen. And so all we need you to do is give us a call and tell us what we can do to help you. Have a great day. Have a great finish to your day. Take care of yourselves, as everybody is out there right now. Whatever assistance we can provide, we're here for you here at IAMS. Hopefully we haven't made the mistake of not keeping in touch with you. Hopefully you haven't made the mistake of not keeping in touch with your clients through this. And we look forward to hearing from you along the way. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Dave. I know you had a busy day today. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to help the team.
No problem. No problem.
All right, man.
And
Have a great afternoon.
thanks everybody for taking time out with us and being with us. Bye bye.